Hey guys, so it looks like I made a mess. I did a webinar last night really quick for you guys, and when I added the time, I guess it put it on PST time instead of Mountain Time. So technically, our Q&A should be an hour from now. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and do it now because there's a lot of people on the call, and then I'll run it as an encore at the scheduled time and tonight. So I apologize. Like, I think I'm going to have some people that are a little bit bothered, but oh well. Okay. So yes, we are recording. Okay, cool. All right, let me see who all. Yeah, I know, I'm confused now. One email says 5 minutes, the other one says an hour. I know. It just goes to show you, you don't have to be the smartest marketer to succeed. You just have to have good intentions. Oh boy. Hey, so we came back from our event. A lot of good things came from that. It went a lot better than I thought it would, especially with kind of, my sister not being here anymore and everything kind of, I kind of had to take responsibility for things I hadn't planned, which is okay. It went really, really good. A lot of things came out of it. A lot of cool ideas that we're already working on, especially for the agency holders. So I saw a lot of very, very kind, posts after the event inside the group and everything. So thank you so much for doing that. I know Jonathan's flying home today, flying back to London. I know Peter was flying home today, back to Canada. And so, people came quite a ways to be at this event. So I really do appreciate it. It meant a lot. Okay, so let me start out this Q&A, even though we're all screwed up here. Let's just go ahead and do a roll call anyways, even though I screw this up. Let me know that you're on the call right now, and that way people can start seeing that we are on the call, and that way they know. Usually we do them at 2 o'clock, but the thing is, guys, like, to be honest with you, I'm doing so many webinars. I'm doing spur of the moment with you guys, and now I think tomorrow we kick off the survey Q&A session, and so then we have these Everlesson Q&A sessions, and there's just a lot going on. So I apologize, but I can see that people are signing on. So if you're on the call, if you would come over here and just do our roll call for us, and that way the members know that we are live right now. That would be really good. Okay. Hey, Randy, what's happening? I had a call with Randy yesterday. Very, very good call. Cool. Tom is here. Good. Everybody is signing on. Okay. This is your call. This is the Q&A session. So if you guys have any questions, it's now where you need to speak up so I can see if I can get you an answer to your question. And then how I usually like to start is I like to see if anybody would raise their hand and share any experiences they've had lately, any struggles, any aha moments, just anything at all, so that I can give myself a break where I'm not the only one talking. So if anybody wants to speak up, go ahead and raise your hands. We're getting people signing on by the minute here, so everybody sees that we are live right now. That's good. So go ahead and raise your hand if you want to speak up. I don't have my usual people on here yet who usually have their hand raised. Let me see. What does that mean? That's a little not attentive. Okay. It's telling me people are not attentive. Like Naomi, it says she is not attentive. Oh, now she's attentive. Okay, let's see what these question marks mean. Go to questions. Okay. All right. Video and audio, good. I thought it was at 2. It is at 2, yes. Yes. LOL, yes. Naomi, you want to speak up and talk about the event and your experience and what you hope to have happened and what you've had going on since the event. Would you speak up? Let's see if we can get her. If she has, okay, she's gonna get her earbuds. Cool. And okay. And maybe Randy, if you're on the call too, yes you are. If you can come on live, I don't know if you have a mic, but I kind of like to share the experience of our call yesterday and the direction I kind of took you and somebody at your level, the advice I gave you, because I think that would apply to a lot of people who don't need to start from the ground up. They just need to get their course done. We kind of put you on that path. So if you have a mic, that would be cool. All right, so let's start with Naomi. Hello.
Hey, Chad.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. I'm an hour early.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know. I just saw the notification and jumped in.
Yeah, well, damn it. I don't know what else to say on that. So you were at the event. What were your thoughts?
I really enjoyed it. I want to thank you again for doing that, because I know that you invested a lot of money to get the training from Jerry and then to invite Jerry out to train the rest of us. I'm very grateful for that, and it was just such a big eye-opener, because Jerry, like, I've known Jerry ever since the Member Hub event, and him and I have been communicating regularly since, like, just past. He gets help from me with his Everlesson sites, and he gives me some tips and advice, but I've never seen him speak, or I've never seen his stuff. So I was just in awe by the level and the depth of how much he knows the human psychology around making buying decisions, and what he shared with us.
Yeah,
was amazing.
It's pretty awesome. I'm excited with what he brings to the table. So what do you think about the direction we're going with that?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I've already started networking, and all I need is to have my first meeting with Jerry. He says on my first meeting he'll see where I am, and then we'll see what time frame I need so that I can go ahead and schedule a date for my event. But what I did was I immediately joined a bunch of entrepreneur and business owner meetup groups, and started going to meetings as soon as I got back to Vegas. And then I joined the BNI. I'm not sure about those meetings though, because they're at 7 a.m. So I might they have a 7 a.m. and an 11 p.m. So I might check those out. But yeah, so I've just been networking, and people are ready. They're already ready. I kind of mentioned that I was doing the event, and they've already asked for speakers at some of their other events, so I'm ready to go.
It's not hard once you just get out there and do it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And by the way, I don't know if you logged into Course Immersion or not, but we got that all restored. That was actually something malicious going on, but we got that fixed and that person out of there. So everything's back to where it needs to be. So I was going to tell you, for those people that were at the event, you guys know that you're going to be able to rebrand Course Immersion. You want to start shooting those intro videos and start working on your bumper, if you want to call it Course Immersion or whatever you want to call it, have at it.
Yeah, I actually have somebody interested in buying my Course Immersion, so I need to go ahead and start shooting my bumpers once you release it, the white label.
But you understand how it's set up, where you're just going to replace that. I'm just basically going to give you guys the zip files. You're going to unzip them and then replace the end bumper, the beginning bumper, and then just your intro clip.
Yep.
That's it. It's set up exactly how I talked about it. I didn't have any logos in the slides or anything else, so that it's very easily able to do that. Matter of fact, I'm going to have my daughter rebrand it too.
Oh, awesome.
Yep, and she's going to go out there and start pushing that course too. So she's going to do her own little webinar and everything else. She'll say, I paired up with my daddy to do this, and yep.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, I've actually started going through it, and a lot of the stuff, in week 1, I'm modeling my course after. Some of the videos are pretty transferable to other courses.
Cool.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you came to the event. I'm glad that you're taking action and everything else. And yeah, we're going to go out there. We're going to crush it with you.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, Naomi. Thanks.
All right.
Okay, let's see if we get Randy. His hand's up. Let me see if I can unmute him. Randy, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes, how are you?
Doing good. Going
Good.
100 miles an hour, and then listening to Natalie there, about 6 questions popped into my brain.
Oh, okay.
But I'll tell you what, since our call yesterday, and what you had suggested to me is go ahead and just get my outline done and put it in workflowy and move on it. And so I decided I was going to start with one of my simple concepts that was going to be probably more like an intro. And then I had a meeting with the gentleman that in the financial services where I'm working, and he wanted my full-on class. He was ready to buy it right then, and his office has 25 other agents there. So I said, well, shoot, I'm going to get paid to write it. So I switched my gears here. So I'm going to write another course. So my question is, so I've got to outline a course here that I haven't written yet, already gotten paid, at least a down payment on it. So what's the workflow for me now?
What's the work?
I'm not guessing anymore. They want my content. I've never put it fully together yet, so I'm kind of in a, okay, creative and working all at the same time. This course is going to be probably a $497 course.
Okay, good. So you have it. You see my screen?
Uh-huh.
So it looks something like this, right? You have your categories, and you open it up. You have your lessons.
Uh-huh.
Good. So once you have that, literally all we're going to do, and this won't be here like this, all we're going to do is copy it just like this. And if I have this here, you're just going to go ahead and paste it right here. Just like that, if you have the right copy and paste. So you'll have your category here, and then your lessons underneath. And let me make sure I'm on, yeah. So you're going to be on the log sheet. You're just going to paste your category here, your lessons here, and then you'll type in your lesson description. If you look over here, you have your category ID, your lesson type, all pretty self-explanatory. And then you're going to go ahead and name your bucket here. And I've got a video on this, and then once you do that, it's going to go and create this big lesson CSV file for you. And you're just going to either A, load that into Everlesson, or B, you're going to pass it off to Ray, and he's going to do everything for you for 40 bucks.
Okay, so in terms of the structure on this, not the file here, if you were having a course and you were going to charge $500 for it, in your initial run with this group, how long? I mean, I've got way more content than I need to put in here. So part of me wants to over-deliver, part of me wants to save it for the next level. How would you move in that?
Tell me what you got. So you have how many weeks? How many categories?
Well, see, here's my, and I'm not sitting in a place where I have it all. I'm actually out in a cafe, not at home, in front of my computer. I'm on my iPad right now, so I can't look at it. But there's with insurance agencies, I have a whole productivity series. One of the series that they're very concerned about is that automated warm email sequencing, follow-up, follow-through type thing.
Okay.
So I can build that as in-depth and include other future modules, or I can keep it short, sweet, create the transformation, and then move on. But I want to make sure there's enough stuff there to where they, you know, if you said you could create a transformation in one lesson, they'd probably feel like they paid too much for it, even though you achieved the same thing. There's a certain level, I guess, where people feel that, you know, if you have 10 lessons and you accomplish it, they would feel better than if you just did it in one. So I'm wondering what the sweet spot is.
How many lessons do you think you have?
Oh, I can easily go 8. I could go 8 categories, 8 lesson topics, if I could use that. And I could build each one of those out. You know, as you do, you know, I could put 3 or 4, you know, 4 or 5 minute videos in each one of them, or I could take it down to 6 lessons and, you know, do the same thing there. There's nothing magical about 6 or 8 for me. It's just a matter of when do I want to cut it off and then create another course for the, you know, the parts I don't put in here.
What are the results you're selling?
Well, it's twofold. Number one, it's once somebody enters their domain, or they meet someone, they learn someone, they know someone, they'll never, ever lose contact with them. This particular business has a dropout rate of about 20% average. This particular agent has 600 clients, and he loses 60 of them a year. So what I'm going to do is I'm pretty much guaranteeing him that he'll reduce that by at least half. He'll probably reduce it by more than that, but I'm saying at least half. We put a monetary number on that based on everything. So he knows exactly what his ROI is. It's about a 50% ROI, so he's thrilled. And it's something he can start right away. So what it does is it stops the bleeding. And since he's paid the same amount on his new business versus renewal business, stopping people leaving is just as good as signing up new clients. Mm-hmm. So it's a bottom line ROI play.
Okay, what's the second thing?
Second thing in terms of what?
You said there was 2 parts. That was the first part. What was the second?
Oh, in terms of what I'm going to do for them?
The result.
The second thing is it builds a every agent is concerned about the volume of their book of business, because someday they'll sell it. It's worth money. And so you have to have an idea or a system to build that book of business over time. So this is a process that builds. It's a process, again, where you don't lose clients. You build a relationship base. It's a nurturing sequence. Part of the course is a nurturing sequence. So it builds the longevity, his book of business over the long haul. So it's a long-term play. So there's a short-term ROI, and then there's a long-term longevity type goal. So those 2 things are both accomplished.
Yeah. So it's all about making money, saving money by preserving your customers, right?
Well, it's not. That's not. These guys are just insurance agents. These guys sell life insurance, they sell homeowners, and they sell auto. Those 3 things. They don't sell securities, stocks, bonds. They don't do any financial planning. So it's, on one hand, it looks like it's a pretty vanilla Me Too type product, and they don't do anything to nurture relationships because of that. So they just kind of, and you probably know it. How often do you talk to your auto insurance agent? Mm-hmm. You don't ever hear from them. They don't do anything to build a relationship to establish themselves in their mind, other than just a commodity. So we go through all that.
Right. So it's not necessarily a sales training. It's more. So what I'm looking for. It's more about retention.
A lot of it, yeah. That's the initial, because that's where the money will be saved up front. But clearly, I write all the emails. I'm the copy on those emails to keep them. Again, I've been in that industry for long, so I put all those emails together for them. And
okay.
What I thought I would do was set it up as the 497. It's basically you go through the course and you're done. We'll have a few touch points along the way. But if they want help in establishing it, setting up the systems and so on and so forth, then they're going to pay me every month to do that.
Why are you coming in at 497? Just curious.
Because this is a group of people, and because of the ROI that they have, I picked that 497 for this group because I can start up in these 25 agents. If I go in with him and it does what I'm thinking it's going to do, then I can jack up the price right away. But I need that proof point with this group. So I did something that he could stomach, and he'd be excited about doing it right away. I don't have to prove anything to him. 497 for him just for that was great.
Okay, so I see where I see where this is kind of standard for a course, like whether you do 4 lessons, 5 lessons, 6 lessons, whatever. This is what I'm interested in. So you said you hit the email series, like that was good, right? And so what else are you going to include with this course?
Well, a lot of it is it's all the how-tos, the structure. For example, one of the things I have a whole sequence of how they can use their SMS, their text messaging to basically capture or onboard new clients. So rather than going out and using business cards or the traditional business card, what they're doing is, doesn't have to use my system, but I have the short code, and I built the SMS text messages for 4 different lines. So you could have a code that says, Randy 1, Randy 2, Randy 3, Randy 4, and text that to, the short code, and then it initiates a process. And part of that is getting the name and verifying the name, and part of it is getting, obviously you have the phone number, and then the other part is getting the email address.
Is it a software you're offering, a swipe file? What is it?
Well, I have all these parts. I mean, I do have the software. I've got the CRM, that does all these things, and I have other systems that do it all. And I will explain how to do all that in the course. Now, whether or not they choose to use my system or somebody else's, that's up to them. And if they then want to use mine and they want me to set it up and do them, then of course that's the upsell, I guess you'd say.
Okay, so the software is not included in this.
No,
Okay, so how to use text messaging. So this would just be another video lesson, right?
Exactly.
So this is what I'm getting at, and this is a good learning experience for you, because look, if this here is, and I'm not saying it is or isn't, but if it's a little bit incongruent here, but it still complements it. For instance, my partner has a course on, learning LinkedIn, and then she had a module on, here's how to find outsourcers to do all that for you. And I said, well, look, it's still a good match, but it's a little incongruent with the rest of the training. So what we do is we can include that as a bonus. So if this isn't a lesson, if you make this more like, if it's more like a blueprint or a resource sheet or something like that, then this has a higher perceived value than it would if it was in the lessons.
That's true.
And so it's a very, very valuable lesson, because I'm trying to get you guys to understand that not everything has to be up here inside the course. There's a lot of things that we can use different formats, whether it be a CD, a swipe file, just a notepad, an additional training, a live webinar, where there's a higher perceived value, and this is going to help you sell more, because now you have your course that you're selling results on, but when you come out with your add-ons, it's going to help them achieve success. And then finally you roll out with your bonuses, and it's going to be a lot easier for you to get that $497 sale and that $997 sale.
So basically limit it all to the email series and sequencing and how to automate that. That's the course. And then all the other parts that I were going to are kind of tangential to that, add those as either bonuses or upsells?
Yeah, so this may be a resource that you were going to add to that lesson, which is fine. It still can be. But when you do your sales presentation, this is actually an added resource, an add-on that's going to help them achieve success with that course.
Oh, there's no question. Because there is nobody that I know of that uses text message onboarding in the insurance industry anywhere. Nobody uses it. And when I explain to them how it works, for example, and a lot of them give a webinar or seminars, and of course then I'm suggesting one of the webinar slides is, text this code to that name right in the middle of it there, and then when they go ahead and text it in the webinar, there's a link to download the slide notes. So you don't have to stand at the back of the room and collect business cards. They hand out slide notes. It's done automatically. So I use that same concept in numerous ways to show them how they can become more effective in their business, to get them more clients, to get more interest in what they're doing.
Right. So in your presentation, if you can do this, if you can say, okay, I've got a course that's going to get you ABC results, the perceived value is this much. In addition to that, you're also going to need help with this right here, which is your add-on number 1. You're going to need help with add-on number 2, and you're going to need add-on number 3. It's just a matter of how you frame things to get the higher perceived value. And so where this is a good resource, because most people try to take all these add-ons here and they try to include it inside of here, and when you do that, you lower your perceived value because of the way the human mind works. So you want this to be base enough to get them results, and now what you've done is you've gone above and beyond for them and also provided them this right here, which is I've written this email series. It's going to do X, Y, Z for you. It's going to retain your clients. It's going to do this. Also, I've got my strategy for SMS text messaging. This is going to help you through onboarding process. You're going to increase it by 32% or whatever. Also, I've got this. You see how we kind of position this differently? And in addition to that, I highly recommend that you have some kind of either monthly or weekly call, just like we're doing here. That has the highest value out of anything that you can offer.
Well, I wasn't sure how often I would do that with this particular group yet, but yeah, that was going to be part of the offer, of some kind of communication portal or something.
Yeah, because a live Q&A call where they can just do like you and I are doing right now ensures that they're going to be successful, because if they get jammed up, they don't have to worry about a support desk, worry about email, worry about Facebook group. they can actually ask you questions on the call. That's the highest perceived value, and most people don't realize this. It's even a higher perceived value than your course altogether.
Really?
Because ultimately, this is what people want. They want their hands held. Matter of fact, if I was to ask you guys that on the call right now, yes or no, would everybody agree with that? That you just want your hands held, you want your questions answered, and you want to know that somebody's there to help you succeed. Yes? Yes. Everybody's saying light bulb? Yes, absolutely. Yes. So I'll take a screenshot of it here in a minute, Randy, so you can see what everybody's saying. But yeah, they're all agreeing that yes, this is the highest perceived value right here. And then of course you do want to have some kind of group. So what we have to do, we have to ask the question, what else? We have to learn to create what's called an irresistible offer. So how I usually start out, Randy, is you have your base course. Okay, your base course is going to get you these results. It's going to help with retention and onboarding and whatever else. You know what your results are. So you put that base course up on whiteboard, okay? And then once you do that, you start saying, okay, what can I provide them that's going to give them absolutely 100% success out of everything I have? And so then you'll start coming up with resources, you'll start coming up with strategies, you'll start coming up with reports, you'll start coming up with tools that you can use. You'll come up with all these ideas, and what you'll do is you'll go through and you'll create what's called an irresistible offer. And so then what will happen is maybe this here will be the add-on. So in addition to the training that you guys can take from the comfort of your home without ever leaving your couch, I'm also going to do a live Q&A call to make sure you understand the training, make sure you get all your questions answered, and you've got a group of like-minded individuals that are there to also help with anything you stumble with, and you're going to be able to form joint venture opportunities. And then I've also got this amazing text messaging strategy, and I'm going to include that as well. And so then that add-on gets moved up here, okay? And then after that, and it depends, you can do this any way you want, everything else here, add-on 2, 3, and 4, become bonuses that you're going to present at the end. So when they're looking at this, they're going, okay, I see this. I see the results I get from this. This looks pretty good. Then when you present this, this is where they won't fail with your system because you're there providing them the help. And at that point, you got them where they're like, you know what, I think I want in on this. This is a good deal. And then by the time you get over here, it goes to, oh my God, I got to have it now. Give me a link.
Boy, the more I'm listening to this, I'm underpricing this.
Of course you are, $9.97.
Yeah.
And one of the other things that is a higher perceived value, can anybody guess the next thing that's the next highest perceived value? What do you guys think the next thing is? And Randy knows because he had a hard time making it happen. Here's the next thing right here. The live call with the owner is the next highest perceived value. So the Q&A call every single week, and then actually taking a live call with the product creator is the next highest perceived value. So do you see how we took your course, which you wanted to sell for $497, and we probably have it $997, $1997 with the right target audience?
Right.
And then this call right here, I didn't do it with you yesterday, Randy, because of how hard we have with the scheduling and everything. But normally, I would present one of our other offers to you. I would present your next level to you, which you clearly have next levels. And so at this point, you just answer their questions, anything they're stuck on, just like you and I did. I make sure that you have a clear direction of where to go. And then usually I can just ask you, is there anything else I can help you with? And at that point, people say, well, do you offer coaching, or do you have this, or I heard about this? And all I have to do is lay the options down on the table because I took the time to actually call you and take care of you, and because we do these Q&A calls every week, and because you've been able to go through the course without issue. It's a whole entire process. See, people think that they put together a course and they go out there and sell it, and they take the money and it goes in their PayPal or wherever, and that's the end of it. It's not the end of it. And we talked about this live at our event. There's always a next level. And with the add-ons and the bonuses that we have here, we're able to get them to the next level. And you know what? It's all the same stuff, isn't it? This is all probably stuff that you were going to offer anyways. It's just how we frame it and how we position it.
Well, you're right, because that's what I was thinking when I told you I could go 10 lessons, 12 lessons. It's because I've got all this stuff there. I just hadn't positioned it.
Mm-hmm. The real value is actually down here. This is actually the real value. Mm-hmm. Most people, to be honest with you, unless you really have gamification going and you're excited in your lessons, most people aren't going to make it all the way to the end of your course. So that's why you do these things here, to keep them on track and get them results. That's why when I talked to you yesterday, I said, hey, let me just give you the fast track. Let's take your outline, plug it into the sheet, and boom, your course is done. You're good to go. Go create your next one.
Yeah, I sat down last night and I thought about 4 or 5 of them I could start cranking. Would it be a good idea ever to crank out, you know, you think of on a lot of these Facebook ads, people are doing videos or they're calling them webinars, but it's essentially a video. And it's almost like it's a training in and of itself. Would it be a bad idea to have a course that's kind of an intro video? It might even be just a 15-minute course or something, but it's really an introduction to who you are to build credibility. Is a course ever used like that?
Sure. You want to include that in the course?
No. For example, if you had a website, on your own website, and I didn't know who you were, and I went there, or if you just meet someone on the street and they say, you know, what do you do? And say, you know what, I got a great course for you here. It's free. Go in and check this out. It really will help you understand what I do and how I do it. And they have entrance to this little 3-lesson course, and they're thrilled because they get all kinds of value from it, and they want to know more. Is that a good, I guess it's almost like a lead magnet, but I'm not thinking of it that way. I just want to use it as an intro piece to give to people to kind of get a taste and flavor of who and what I am and what I do.
I mean, yeah, you can. I wouldn't do it with a course. I mean, you could have a lesson in there, but I would get your unprotected. That's what you want to do. But I mean, you got to think.
Oh, I wouldn't have it unprotected. I'd have it inside a membership area.
I don't think I would. I think I would have just a simple page with contact options down below. I think I'd make it very, very easy, no distractions. Because, I mean, you got to ask yourself, what's my goal? My goal is to educate them as far as what I do and the opportunity that persists. Right?
Okay.
So, I don't
want to reinvent the wheel. I don't need to do that. I've got enough stuff on my plate. I don't need to reinvent. So if you say no, I'm not going to think about it. That's easy enough for me to do.
I wouldn't. I mean, did you guys get a lot of value out of this exercise here? Do you see how, you know, and Naomi said live event. Well, live event could be his next level. You know, when he's on call with these owners, I mean, number one, he's showing that he cares. And number two, he's able to invite them to the live event, whether it's free or whether it's paid, it doesn't really matter. This puts him in a position where he's able to get him to the next level. And this call right here, guys, is actually, there's a high perceived value with it when, yeah, you're going to provide value, but it's also to get them to your next level. Does that help you, Randy?
Yeah. One thing you just mentioned with Natalie on the phone, when you talked about white labeling, in terms of what I'm doing, where does that fit in?
Okay, so let's talk about that too, because that's a good question, because I kind of put that on the spot. So look, here's what I teach. I teach, okay, you're going to create a bumper video. This has your nice commercial appeal, and then from there you're going to have, hey, welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to teach you this, and then you're going to have what's called the main content. So in my case, it may be a PowerPoint slide, it may be a screencast, it may be a combination of both. And then the main content also has the goal inside the slide. And then we have the outer bumper, which is pretty much the same thing as the intro bumper. Okay, so a few rules here that I taught inside of Course Immersion. Number one, when you're doing this part right here, you don't have your logo on the slide or anything like that. You don't mention the course name, and you don't say, in the previous video, you learned to do this, and in the next video, you're going to learn to do this. And the reason why you don't want to do that is because then you're locked into the placement inside your course. the way I'm teaching it, you could literally move this whole entire lesson, which is one video, anywhere you want, any category, and it's going to work. The next thing is, if I go do a brand new bumper, so like I was telling Naomi a minute ago, we have something called course immersion. If she wants to call it course mastery, she can go get a brand new bumper and call it course mastery. She can redo these intro videos here and say, in this, well, they'll know it's course mastery, but she can say, look, in this lesson, you're going to learn to do this, 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 this. And so now you can see how it's all branded as course mastery because I didn't include any of that right here. And so you're able to do the same things, right? So with your system, what's your marketplace again? Financial advisor, is that what it is?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so if it works for financial advisors, maybe it works for insurance agents, maybe it works for car salesmen, whatever, where you're able to come up with a new bumper for your intro and your outro, and then you just have new intro clips. And this could actually be somebody that is involved with a company that does it.
So in those bumpers, for example, I have a company name because of what I've been doing. It's called Impact Thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So I have an intro and outro, if you want to call it that, just a video file that it comes in, it brings in the logo, and it's just a 10-second kind of intro and outro. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're speaking of when you think of bumper?
Yep, and that's the only place we're going to brand it.
Okay, so I have one now already for that. And so my intro would be just as you've done, okay, and then the main content, I just don't use the name Impact Thinking ever again.
Correct. And then you're in a position where, and you'll learn this in course immersion, where you can zip this whole entire file and you can simply pass the zips off to somebody else. They can unzip it, they're going to replace this, they're going to replace this, and then they're going to shoot their own intros. And if you want to say the name of the course here, you can, because this will get replaced in a white label solution anyways, but this is the meat and potatoes right here. And so this stays as it is. And so when I was at this event, a lot of people took me aside and they had me shoot a video with them, and they basically introduced me to their audience, and they said, here's what I've partnered up with in this course. He's going to help me get this done. His name's Chad, da, 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 da. And so I kind of, introduced myself to the camera and everything else. And so you can see we have a really nice transition where it looked like we paired to do this course.
Got it. Got it.
Pretty interesting, isn't it? Because you can go out there and, if your bumper's for financial advisors, you could do a bumper for, insurance retention, right? So now you have a bumper for insurance retention, and then you just, you probably don't even have to create new intros, honestly. For you, you could do the same exact intros, just swap out your bumpers, and just don't mention anything about the niche in there. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And people don't see it coming because they see the branding here and here, and they don't even realize there's no branding in here.
I love it. Yeah.
And there's a lot of thought that went into this. So what we discovered at this event was I was going to give them course immersion. They're going to create a new bumper, or they can use the same bumper, but they're definitely going to create new intros. So like Naomi will create her own new intro, and she'll say, so in this video, you're going to learn to do da-da-da-da-da-da, and then it'll roll over here to the main content. You can just use mine for now, or if she wants, she can go and reshoot all this too, but that's going to be a lot of work for her.
So if you had a business where you were going to have 20 or 30 courses, just pick it, like you said, you've done 50, 60 of them. To keep a brand awareness and consistency, what would you use again and again?
Well, it depends. Like if you're selling the white labels to somebody else and they want to sell it as their own, they're going to replace out this for sure, because this is their branding. So like our members, when they're at the event and they go and they present this course, they want the people at the event to think that they're the ones that help create this course. And so this here needs to be the person that's at the event. But for you, if you're going out there and you just want to put together a bunch of courses for a bunch of different markets, you don't really have to replace any of these.
Just the content changes.
I don't even think the content changes if you're general, but the bumper would definitely change if your bumper is targeted for financial advisors.
Got it.
Does that help?
Yeah, I can do this.
Pretty awesome, right?
You betcha.
And you
Thanks a
have
lot.
this whole entire process inside of Course Immersion.
Yeah, I remember seeing that stuff. Now that you put it together here, it makes a little more sense.
Cool. Okay, Randy, I'm going to jump over here to somebody else. Thank you so much for speaking up. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see who else is here. Did that help you guys? You guys get a lot out of this, I hope. Seems like something new comes up every time, right? Let me see. Okay, cool. Where'd my questions go? Hold on a minute. Somebody else ask another question so I can find the question panel here. Where'd it go? Let's see, attendees. Ah, there we go. Let's see, go to questions pane. I'm trying, I just don't see it. Okay, all right, let me look at your questions now. Anybody that has their hand up anymore? Okay, we got all the hands. Okay, cool. So let me look at your questions. Now you guys need to ask the questions. I'm going to be rolling out with some updates here with Everlesson. The good news is we're almost done with the API for ThriveCart. Okay, so the ThriveCart API is pretty close to being done. Josh and his team requested some more information from us. We've been able to work on that with our API, and then they're going to tie into us, and you won't have to do the webhooks or anything else. Also making tremendous progress on the auto webinar funnel, as well as some of the pages. So we're going to have all that done. I'm in the process of writing all those follow-up emails, indoctrinations, and everything else. The logic was a little bit complicated with what we were doing, because here's the reason why, guys. I want to have like 60 hours worth of emails ready to go out for you, right? And I want to give like the very best email series I have where we get the best conversions. So I'm going to have like 60 hours ready, even though your promotion, your webinar may end and you only want to promote it for like 3 days. That means that we're going to knock off anything that goes above and beyond 36 hours, and then we still need to match the times inside your email. So if your subject line says, you know, there's 6 hours left, we need to make sure that that time is corresponding with your offer and the countdown timer and everything else. So it is just amazing, awesome, complicated logic, but we are definitely getting it there. I see some questions about survey. We'll address that tomorrow on the survey Q&A. We got some updates there as well too. Will the webinar be able to run inside of Everlesson? So we are not a webinar platform. That's not something I want to do anytime soon. If the auto webinar platform goes well, then we'll do that. But no, we want you running your webinar in like GoToWebinar or Webinar Geo or something like that, and then you'll be able to take the recording and you'll really be able to rock it out inside of Everlesson. And that's where we're trying to get to, where we have all of our auto webinars inside of Everlesson so that we have delivery handled, the emails are handled, because that's not our greatest strength. We're not real great at mailing out replays. So this is just for people that went to Course Immersion event or servicing agency holders. Tom, so that is for agency holders. Agency holders have the rights to go out there and resell our 15K mastermind. And so, yes, we're going to let them rebrand Course Immersion to do that. Let me see, what other questions do you guys have? I see your note there, Bob. Let's see. Let me see what Ray is saying. I have the page with 3 tiers online and getting the connections to make the payment processor live. Plus, I want to show you first before we show the group to be sure I'm on the same page. 3 tiers, one at 40, second one's at 100, and third, okay. Just show me the page, Ray. It's okay. Just show it to me. I'll open it up. It's okay. They need to see that we're action takers and that we're not scared and that we go out there and make things happen. So just go ahead and paste the link here and I'll open it up, and that way I can show them. So what Ray is talking about, guys, is he's talking about the packages that we have for Everlesson users. So You guys know that I did a webinar yesterday where I created an outline on the plane. I took that outline, I plugged it into, not this sheet, but let me just show you really quick. Let me see if I can get in here. This sheet right here. Let me see. And by the way, I finally organized my Google Docs. So I recommend that you guys do the same thing. So if I scroll down here, actually in my Google Drive, I created a folder called My Courses. And so one of them right here was Group Immersion. And so if I open this up, and if I come over here to my log sheet, yesterday on the webinar, I was coming through and I was showing them how we would go and basically plug all the information that I created on the plane into this log sheet, and then it's going to go make this lesson CSV file, and then it's going to make this category CSV file automatically. And all I got to do is wherever it's green, plug in the information. Okay? So that's what we did on yesterday's webinar. It was very, very short. It was about 20 minutes, but just very, very basic stuff. Is everybody starting to understand the direction we're going here? Are you guys starting to understand? And by the way, I'm seeing your comments in the other groups. And so if you guys would please do me a favor, I just happened to reach out to this guy named John Paul today. Right here, he owns a group called Rapid Course Creation. I thought, man, I saw some people talking about how it took them too long to create a course and 3 times as long as it should. And I said, you know what, I'm going to try to reach out to this guy and see if I can introduce him to Everlesson. So I did that. And if you guys would please, because I'm going to keep bringing in the group owners, if you would please give him a warm welcome and tell him, you know, what it is you love about Everlesson, that would really help, guys, because one of my marketing plans is to make sure that we have each and every group believing in us, forming joint ventures with us, and really endorsing us, and we work very, very closely with these group owners. That's one of the ways that I really plan on you know, expanding our brand and making sure that we are the premium platform. And that's going to help us get bigger, guys, which in turn helps us with a lot of things. It helps us with marketing, it helps us with development, it helps us with a lot of things. So understand that those are things that you benefit from too, because everything we do, whether it be a simple little update, you know, whether it be support, whether it be these live webinars, if it's the events, you know, whatever it is. I took everybody out to dinner the other night. Understand that there is actually a cost involved with everything. And even though we started opening up our trials now, and those are going very well, for the past 2.5 years, it's pretty much been me and Karthik consuming this cost, but we're doing it because we know what the future is. We know that this is the direction that online education is going, and we know it's definitely going to be worth it in the long run, and it makes our life a lot easier. So if you would please help me in that quest, and if you're in a group and you have the opportunity to reach out to the group owner, you know, like we did here, please do that. And if you want to introduce me to some of those group owners, and I can talk to them as well, you know, I'll do something extra special for you. We'll figure something out, but that's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to reach out to these group owners and let them know, you know, how much we care, and you know, how amazing our platform is and how it can really be created with rapid course creation. So please make sure you give him a warm welcome and everything else. And let me just see if there's any other comments here. Let's see, click on view more comments. I see all the comments here, Ted, but I don't see anything else from you. Absolutely glad to help. Thanks, Shrita. Let's see, I didn't mean to post that survey question twice. It's okay, Hans. We'll address survey tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a little bit different, guys. I might have to move some webinars around because I need to fly home. I need to go see my babies. I have them for the weekend, so I'm going to try to, I haven't booked my tickets yet, so I'm going to try to fly home in between the webinars or whatever, so I don't screw your guys' schedule up. But I'm just letting you know it's going to be kind of busy. So yes, please say hello to John, and now you guys kind of know the direction we're going and everything else. Before we conclude, because we've got another webinar getting ready to kick off, is there anything else that you guys need to know? Is there any other questions that I haven't answered or anything else? Just let me know here on the call. Anything? Let me make sure I'm getting your comments. Okay. Let's see. Is that a new one? Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Ask question and received. Okay. Let me see. Let me make sure I got them all. Nope, really appreciate your time today. I didn't mean to post. Okay, cool. All right, guys, so that's where we'll conclude. Like I said, I got another webinar, but stay tuned. We'll have some more updates. Everybody's at the event. We're already working on that stuff. Awesome news coming out. Just awesome things to help you guys crush it. Everybody jumped on the call today. Thank you so much. I apologize that we were early. Usually we're late, but today we're early. So thanks for putting up with me, and I'll talk to you guys again real soon. Take care.